By the end of this episode, you are going to know 5 money habits to not only get you rich, but to keep you rich. Now, by the end of this video, you should know all of these fantastic habits to keep wealth and build wealth. You're going to be listening to an investor's experience on how to do it. So who am I? Why should I tell you 5 money habits not only to get you rich, but to keep you rich? Well, my name's Future Investments, and I've been investing avidly for the last 5 years. And I've built up a great knowledge and portfolio from networking and investing with my own capital. And I've had some great successes with very few losses. Now, what is that? Well, that's because I followed 5 simple steps to building true wealth and to also keeping that wealth. So let's follow through those 5 steps throughout this video. So starting off at number 1. This is in no particular order, but this is a list of importance that helps me build wealth. And that is income and expenses. Finding your order and your place in the financial world, markets, and when creating your own investment portfolio. Now, how do you start? It seems quite intimidating thinking about this. There's so many ways to spend and invest, and it can become a little bit of a minefield. So the simple strategy that I like to use to start off with and to continue using throughout my portfolio journey is using an income statement and a balance sheet. Now, an income statement is where you compare your income versus your expenses. This allows you to look at how much money you have coming in versus how much money you have going out. And then the balance sheet is looking at assets versus liabilities. An asset, by definition, is something that puts money into your pocket, and a liability, by definition, is something that takes money out of your pocket. Now, a fantastic and very world-renowned investor, Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote probably the best financial book going, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, explains this fantastically. If you're looking for a more in-depth review about the income statement versus balance sheet, definitely recommend reading his book. But going back to that, it's a fantastic way of seeing how much income you have coming in versus your expenses. And again, looking at your assets versus your liabilities. And when we don't actually monitor this and take a closer look at our spending habits, you'll find that actually it's probably quite poor. When you sit down and work out, okay, how much do I spend every month on this stuff and how much do I save? How many assets do I have versus how many liabilities do I have? You know, a liability could be a car that's got monthly payments, whereas an asset could be a buy-to-let property giving you passive income, or maybe a stocks and shares ISA that's set on a dividend fund basis. For me, this is a fantastic way of figuring out the start of my journey, because by figuring out how much money you have coming in, how much money you have going out, what assets you have and liabilities you have, it gives you a ballpark figure of starting to work out what you need to improve. You can figure out, okay, I need to start removing some of these liabilities, and maybe I need to look at start getting some assets like this. And then it might also make you think, okay, how can I increase my income and lower my expenses? So by putting it down on paper, not only have you got a visual representation of your finances and your financial lifestyle, but it allows you to start manually putting it in order. Moving on to number 2, control spending. Now, there's something that's called lifestyle inflation. And essentially what this is your spending will rise as your income rises. Basically, we all have said in our lives, throughout our working careers, we would love to earn X amount of money more than I do now. But what tends to happen by human nature is we eventually get to that level of income, or we get closer to it. And because we've got an extra, maybe $200, £200 per month, you start mentally finding new things to purchase. Normally liabilities. Most people earn more, so they spend more. What you really need to do is try and control that lifestyle inflation. When you start earning more, you need to keep your spending the same as what it was previously. And if you can do that simple method and simple trick of controlling your lifestyle inflation, you'll find that you'll have a lot more capital left over every single month, which will allow you to invest more and therefore make more money work for you. Moving on to number 3, it comes back to simple saving, doesn't it? Now, I would like to say that there is a cap on how much you can save, but there is no cap on how much you can make. And it's a very good point, isn't it? Because all of us have a cap on the amount we're able to save, but there technically is no cap on how much income you can earn. So how do we improve our saving? Well, firstly, I think we've looked at our liabilities and our expenses, so now we need to look at increasing our income. And don't forget, it's not all about one massive source of income. I'm a big fan of having multiple drips of income from multiple different sources, which end up creating a larger pool of capital. And remember, it's not real. Don't get attached to the number that is accumulating in either your investment ISA account or maybe your index funds. It's easy to get that number, see it grow, and then become that hoarder of that capital and not want to use it to build more wealth. So saving is extremely important. Remember that there is a cap on how much you can save, but there isn't a cap on how much you can earn. So really try and focus on the second part of that, which is looking at building more income. That might be through starting up a business, maybe a limited company. Maybe you're gonna go self-employed alongside your main employment. This not only creates multiple streams of income, but it protects you. Maybe your employment was to fail, maybe you were to be made redundant or lose your job. At least you've got a backup of other sources of income. So there's multiple benefits to really focusing on saving. Moving on to number 4, taxes. There are a lot of legal benefits to taxes. To do that, you need a good accountant, and I do believe you get what you pay for. A good accountant can be worth their weight in gold. If you have, for example, your own self-employed business, there are so many tax write-offs legally you can use at your benefit and disposal. You can claim back in the United Kingdom 20% on a lot of your expenses for your business, whether it's a limited company or whether you're self-employed. And they're there to be used, whether it's work clothes, fuel, mileage, or consumable tools that you use for your business. Even if in the United Kingdom you work for an employer, you can actually claim back on washing your clothes. It's very simple to do, you just go online. But not many people know this because unfortunately in public schools we're not taught about finances. We're taught to become an employee, not an employer. So sitting at number 4 is get control of your taxes and figure out the benefits that are there to be used. And lastly, number 5, do not wait too long to invest. There's a saying that you may have heard me say before, and I'm going to say it again because I want to drill it into you. It's so important. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. Now, I get so many comments here on future investments. When should I buy gold? The price is so high right now. Should I wait? Well, from my personal experience, and listen, I'm not a financial advisor, I found that through my own mistakes of waiting for the price of either a stock or share, or maybe the price of commodities like gold and silver bullion, waiting for it to come down has actually cost me because it tends to continue increasing. So for me, I think it's better to have time in the market rather than trying to time the market. Same goes with property. I've had multiple people say, I'm going to wait for the house prices to go down before I buy my own property or an investment property. Now for me, I would rather just get in, hold that property and start paying capital down on my mortgage or on my investment. And in that time, the house prices may rise, they may go down, but at least I'm still paying down or paying into my investment. And don't forget, time is your ally. If you're a bit younger, you've got time on your side, so make sure you use that. And try not to be intimidated by waiting or investing either. Remember, diversify. Spread your risk, don't put all of your eggs into one basket. You can create multiple pools of accounts, whether it's ISAs, index funds, precious metals, tangible investments like gold and silver. Spreading your investment portfolio is absolutely key to building long-term wealth on a low to medium risk basis. Now, in conclusion, we've reached the end of the video. I hope this serves as motivation for you. Most importantly, there are multiple ways to become financially secure and successful. These are just 5 of my experiences and habits that I've implemented on a consistent compound effect basis. and they've proved to give me great results, and I hope it can do the same for you. Remember, when it comes to building wealth and being consistent, whether it's creating a business or starting a new hobby, you don't have to be extreme, you just have to be consistent. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have watched all the way until the end, well, wow, I do really appreciate it because I know how valuable your time is. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It costs absolutely nothing, but it shows that you really enjoy the content, and it means that you get to see more videos like this. And if you really enjoyed it, please consider liking the video and leaving a comment below to let me know you did enjoy it. Until next time, I'll see you all in the very next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.